If you want to look like a distinguished gentleman and care about what you drive to the function, well, keep watching. Because we're going to go over 7 incredible luxury cars that look very expensive but are affordable as hell. And several of them are serious performance cars as well. So, like, subscribe, and let's go into the first one. Yes, the C63. Let's kick things off with a car that sounds like straight up thunder and backs it up with some serious muscle. Yeah, we're talking about the Mercedes C63 AMG. And at first glance, it might look like your average executive sedan, but then you just take a little bit closer of a look and that aggressive bulging hood, the massive front grille, and the quad exhaust pipes, that means business. And that AMG badge means, bam, it's not quite so well behaved now, is it? Under the hood is a naturally aspirated 6.2 V8, pumping out a handy 451 horses, and it's all sent to the rear wheels, so you know burnouts are there for days. But just because it's an angry Merc doesn't mean it isn't comfy. It's still a C-Class underneath, and with all that leather and fine materials around you, it can still act like a luxury car when you need it to. Now, when these things were brand new, they were an eye-watering $60,000 plus MSRP, but today you can find these beasts for way under $20K easily, especially if you use the ideal car strategies, which I've linked down below. See, check out this one, you guys, that sold for just over $16. Now, this isn't going to be the cheapest one to maintain on this list. I mean, AMG parts, well, they ain't cheap. And gas mileage, yeah, let's just say you won't be hypermiling this thing. But if you want power, you want luxury, and you want a badge that commands respect, this is it. And as you know, you can find all of these ideal picks using Auto Tempest in the pinned first comment below, after you check out the ideal car strategies. Number 2. Alright, you want something that looks sleek, drives like a sports car, but won't leave you stranded with the German reliability issues? Sign me up and meet my little friend, the Infiniti Q60. This is the sleeper pick of the list because not enough people really realize just how good of a car this actually is. With its sharp coupe styling, the Q60 has aged like fine wine. Under the hood, the Q60 is powered by the VQ 3.7-liter V6, pumping out 330 horses on tap. It also came with a 6-speed manual, which makes it a dream for purists. Essentially, it's a Nissan 370Z in a tuxedo, going to a black gown ball. Plus, there is a huge aftermarket for this chassis if you're into that sort of thing, which, if you're subscribed to Ideal, I know you are. Anyway, when this car was brand new, it cost almost $50,000, but today you can grab one for under $17,000, like this one that just sold for $16,995. Okay, if you've ever wanted to roll up looking like Walter White, don't buy a Pontiac Aztek. You buy a Chrysler 300 SRT 8. The massive Bentley style front grille and boxy muscular stance makes this thing look twice as expensive as it actually looks. And I mean, that's the whole point of the 300C, isn't it? This thing isn't just for show. It comes with the 6.1 liter Hemi V8, pushing out 425 horses. And it can go 0 to 60 in just 4.5, which is faster than my 911, which is ridiculous for a full-size family sedan that you could put all your friends in. Now, when it was new, it cost around $45,000, but now, check this out. You can snag one for just around $15,000. Now, the interior isn't the most high-tech, but it sure is hell comfy, and who cares? You've got a Hemi. Case closed. But I know some of you guys, you want a car that's just going to break necks every single time you pull up. And the Maserati Gran Turismo, well, that is the golden ticket, baby. This car has the sleek, aggressive styling of an Italian exotic. And that's because it was designed by Pininfarina, the same designer who, well, you know, designed Ferrari's greatest hits. Ever heard of him? Speaking of Ferrari, you know what's under the hood? It's a 4.2-liter V8 that was actually built by Ferrari, making 405 horsepower, and the sound that it makes is just pure angels screaming the high notes. There might not be anything better. I gotta say though, of all the unreliable luxury cars on this list, this one is probably the worst, especially if it has any deferred maintenance, so always get a PPI before you buy any of these. Not only are the parts and servicing for a Maserati expensive, but they do tend to break a lot if it's electrical or infotainment issues or even more major stuff like, and the engine blows up. Regardless, if you find one that's been well taken care of and you get that PPI, it's a wonderful car to drive and will break necks at every single gas station that you stop at because this thing does not give very good fuel mileage. Back when this car was new, it had a sticker price of over $100,000, but check this out. Now you can pick one up for under $20. This one sold for just around $18, although this next car on this list is probably my favorite. Yeah, Cadillac ain't just for your dad anymore because this one doesn't just look expensive, it also has genuine superhero performance. The Cadillac CTS-V. It's the American take on the European high-performance luxury sedan, and trust me, it does not disappoint. I mean, just look at this thing. You know that there is something special under that hood. And besides that, you got the sharp, aggressive styling and that massive front grille. It gives you the presence of a $70,000 plus performance sedan, which is what it was brand new. But let's go back to the real magic, which, yeah, is under that hood, because this thing's either packing a 5.7 or 6-liter supercharged V8 that pushes out a ridiculous 400 plus horses. Yeah, that's right, a 4-door Cadillac that can outpace some Ferraris from the same era. Back when this thing was new, and I was like, I don't know, a little lad, this thing was special for the few that knew the difference. But today, you can find them for under 20 grand, and they're just as special. At least that's what my mom tells me. This one sold for mid-16s and is freaking mint. That means you get a Corvette-powered Brembo brake and luxury interior in a sleeper sedan that costs less than a new Hyundai Elantra, which is already an insanely cheap car. Now, before you run to go buy one, keep in mind that this beast was built for speed, not economy. The supercharger whine, it is intoxicating, but it also will give you a big gas bill. And while the maintenance is much cheaper than a European equivalent, some parts, especially performance components, aren't exactly cheap. Now, are they? But if you're looking for a luxury sedan that can roast tires and embarrass exotics, don't let me talk you out of it. I'm just here, doing my job. Maybe you're not into the loud and flashy lifestyle. Or are you? Well, maybe you want to roll up looking like a high-powered executive with quiet wealth. That's where the Lexus LS 460 comes in. Because, you know what? At first glance, the LS 460 looks every bit as prestigious as a Mercedes S-Class or BMW 7 Series. But with one major advantage, it's a Toyota, essentially. I mean, it's a Lexus, but it's pretty much a Toyota. Which means it will outlast both of them easily. Under the hood, you're still getting a 4.6-liter V8 making 380 horses, which means very smooth, effortless acceleration as you whisper past everybody else. And on the inside, it's whisper quiet as well, thanks to top-tier sound insulation and some of the most comfortable seats that you have ever sat in. They give a lazy boy a run for the money. When it was new, the car cost nearly 70 grand, but you know what? Today, depreciation, well, it's a thing, and there are certainly higher mile examples that are cheaper and just as reliable. Just remember that this thing's going to run forever, and I mean 13 grand in the grander scheme of things is not a whole lot of money. So, wow. Okay, now it's time to talk about one of the most underrated Grand Tours on the market really ever. I mean, it's a Jaguar XKR, you know, before they did the whole marketing thing now that we don't even know what the hell is going on. Yes, back when the XKR had that classic hood, had that short rear design that just screams British luxury, that was the good old days. It's sleek, it's aggressive, and instantaneously recognizable as something very special. Powering this beauty is a supercharged 4.2-liter V8 that cranks out 390 horses. But it's not just about speed. The XKR is built for grand touring, meaning it delivers a buttery smooth ride while still having enough power to have some fun. When it was new, the XKR was an expensive choice, with a starting price of anywhere between $80,000 and $110,000. But today, well, times have changed and depreciation has run its glorious course. We found this stunning one with 47,000 miles on it that sold for only 17 grand. But now, before you rush out to buy one, there are some things to consider because British reliability is, British reliability. Jaguars from this era are known to have electrical gremlins and some maintenance quirks, but if you find a well-maintained example, you'll have an elegant, high-performance coupe that turns head everywhere you go. So, whether you want the brute force of an AMG, the executive style of a Lexus, or the exotic appeal of a Maserati, there is a luxury car out there for every budget. as long as it's under 20 grand. So now it's your turn. Which one would you choose? And which affordable luxury cars did we miss? Let us know down below in the first comment. And as always, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell for more Ideal content. Check out these Ideal vids over here. I'm Brad. This is Ideal. We'll see you next week, and promise me one thing. Keep living the Ideal lifestyle.